Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today by asking you to do something a little uncomfortable.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
I want you to visualize a very specific moment, a moment I think every single person listening has experienced, probably more often than they'd like to admit.
I'm ready. Lay it on me.
Okay, picture this. It's a Tuesday morning, the alarm goes off, and immediately, before you even open your eyes, you just know. You know you did not get enough sleep.
Oh, yeah, that feeling.
Maybe you stayed up too late doom scrolling. Maybe you had a couple glasses of wine with dinner. Or maybe you just, tossed and turned all night.
Yep, been there.
You drag yourself out of bed. You stumble into the bathroom. You flip on those harsh, unforgiving fluorescent lights. And you look in the mirror.
And you see a stranger staring back at you.
Exactly. You see what we affectionately call the morning face.
The morning face. It's a real phenomenon.
Your eyes are puffy. There are bags under them. Your skin looks kind of dull. And your jawline, which you swore was sharp yesterday, is suddenly, I don't know, it's blurry.
It's soft, yeah.
You just look heavy. You look, frankly, 10 years older than you did when you went to bed.
It is such a visceral moment. You feel heavy, you look heavy, and your brain, it feels like it's wrapped in cotton wool. That brain fog.
And here's the mystery that we rarely stop to question. Fast forward 2 hours.
Right.
You've had your coffee, you've commuted to work, maybe you just walk the dog around the block, you catch your reflection in the rearview mirror or a shop window, and suddenly, you look like yourself again.
The puffiness is gone.
The jawline is back, you look fresh.
It's almost like magic. And the question is, why? What physically happened in those 2 hours? You didn't lose 5 pounds of body fat.
No.
You didn't get a facelift between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m.
So what is the mechanism there? Where did that heaviness go?
What you are witnessing in real time is the functioning, or more accurately, the malfunctioning of the body's most undervalued system.
Okay.
We're talking about the lymphatic system.
The lymphatic system. Now, I have to be honest with you. When I started reading through the research stack for this deep dive, my baseline knowledge of the lymphatic system was, well, it was pretty much zero.
That's most people.
I think for most of us, lymph is just that thing the doctor checks when you have a sore throat. They touch your neck and they go, oh, your glands are swollen.
Precisely. It is the unsung hero of human anatomy. It has a massive branding problem.
A branding problem. I like that.
It does. It doesn't get the PR that the heart gets. It doesn't get the headlines that the brain gets.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely essential for your immediate health, your long-term longevity, and yes, as we just described, your physical appearance.
And because it's so ignored by, mainstream medicine, which is usually focused on the heart or the lungs, it seems like this topic has been hijacked by a very specific corner of the internet.
You mean the woo corner?
Totally. When you search for lymphatic health, you don't get medical journals first. You get influencers using jade rollers.
Dry brushing.
People dry brushing their skin or bouncing on mini trampolines. It feels very coop. It feels like magic crystals territory.
It does. It can feel very new age. But our mission today is to completely strip away that mysticism. We are going to look at the hard science, the fluid dynamics, the physics, and the cellular biology of why those seemingly weird things actually work.
Oh, I love that.
Because they do work, but usually not for the reasons the influencers tell you.
We're going to validate the woo with physics.
Exactly.
Because when you actually dig into the sources, you realize that the lymphatic system is basically the body's sewage and security system combined. And the scary part is, modern life is essentially designed to destroy it.
That is the headline. We have built a world that systematically shuts down our internal cleaning system.
Wow.
And that morning puffiness, that's just the visible tip of the iceberg.
So let's unpack this. If we want to understand the trash collection, I think we first have to understand the delivery system.
Correct. You can't understand lymph without first understanding blood. Think of your body as a bustling city or a house. You have a delivery system bringing the groceries.
Okay.
That's your arterial blood supply.
Okay, so the arteries are the delivery trucks, the Amazon Prime of the body.
Right. The heart pumps and these big, thick, pressurized tubes. The arteries carry oxygen, sugar, nutrients, hormones, all the good stuff to every single cell in your body. They speed down the highway, take the off-ramp into the arterioles, and eventually pull up to the curb at the capillaries.
The smallest streets.
The smallest streets. They drop off the goods so the cells can eat and function.
So the cells eat the food, they take the oxygen, but just like in a house, when you cook dinner and eat, you make a mess, you create trash.
You create waste. Love it.
Yep.
Metabolism is a messy process. Just existing creates byproducts. Cells create carbon dioxide, ammonia, cellular debris, proteins that are no longer needed.
All this junk.
Exactly. All this junk gets dumped into the space between the cells. In anatomy, we call this the interstitial space.
The interstitial space. It sounds like a dimension from a sci-fi movie.
It's essentially the fluid-filled soup that surrounds all your cells. Think of it like the alleyway behind all the houses on the street.
Okay, so every house is just throwing its garbage bags into the alley.
Pretty much. Now, here's the critical part that most people don't realize. You have this soup full of waste. Some of it gets picked up by the veins and taken back to the heart.
Right, the veins are the other half of the circulatory system.
Correct. But the veins are picky. They can only handle the small stuff, mostly water and small molecules. They can't handle the big trash.
Like the heavy furniture, like the old sofa you're trying to get rid of.
Exactly. Large proteins, dead blood cells, bacteria, cell fragments. That stuff is physically too big to squeeze into the blood vessels. If it stays there, your tissues effectively turn into a landfill, a toxic swamp.
And how much fluid are we talking about here? Is this a few drops?
Oh no, this is what blew my mind when I first learned it. We are talking about 3 to 4 liters of fluid every single day that gets left behind in your tissues.
Wait. 3 to 4 liters.
Liters, yes.
That is the equivalent of 2 large soda bottles of potentially toxic sludge sitting in your body every day.
Every single day. It's a huge volume. And this is where the lymphatic system comes in. If the arteries are the delivery trucks and the veins are the regular trash trucks for the small bags.
The lymphatic system is the specialized hazardous waste removal crew.
It's the crew that comes for the old sofa and the broken fridge. It's a network of tiny permeable tubes that sit right there in that interstitial space, ready to soak up that excess fluid and all the gunk the veins couldn't handle.
So it's the cleanup crew. But here is where the research you sent over really surprised me. There is a fundamental difference between how the blood moves and how the lymph moves.
This is the key insight of the entire deep dive.
Yeah.
The cardiovascular system, the blood, has a massive engine attached to it.
The heart.
The heart, it beats what, 100,000 times a day? It is a high-pressure pump that forces blood to move. It doesn't matter if you were asleep, awake, or in a coma, your heart is pumping that blood.
It's automatic.
Totally automatic. But the lymphatic system,
It doesn't have a pump.
it has zero pump. It is a completely passive system.
That seems like a massive design flaw, doesn't it? Seriously. You have a system that needs to move hazardous waste from your toes all the way up to your neck, working against gravity the entire way, and evolution decided, nah, we don't need a motor for that.
It does seem like a bizarre oversight, right? You're asking fluid to climb up a vertical pipe without an engine. And this is why this topic matters so much to modern humans.
Because?
Because if that fluid doesn't move, it stagnates.
And stagnant water is never good in nature.
Think about the difference between a rushing mountain stream and a swamp. A stream is clear, oxygenated, and supports life. A swamp is stagnant, it breeds bacteria, it smells, and it accumulates muck.
Right.
If your lymphatic system isn't moving, your body's internal environment literally turns into a swamp.
Which physically manifests as inflammation.
Inflammation,
Yeah.
higher risk of infection, tissue damage, stiffness,
Itchiness.
and cosmetically. That's the puffiness, that morning face we talked about. That is the swamp. That is fluid that pooled in your face while you were lying down and didn't drain away.
So we have this massive volume of trash fluid, we have no heart to pump it, and we have gravity working against us. How are we not all just, I don't know, filling up with fluid like water balloons?
Nature came up with a brilliant, albeit demanding solution.
Okay.
Since there is no internal pump, the engine for your lymphatic system is you, specifically your movement.
It's mechanical.
It is purely mechanical and hydraulic. The lymphatic vessels are embedded deep within your skeletal muscles and your fascia. When you walk, when you reach for a coffee cup, when you squat, your muscles contract.
And that squeezes the tubes.
That contraction squeezes the lymphatic tubes.
It's like squeezing a tube of toothpaste.
Exactly like that. But here's the problem with the toothpaste analogy. If you squeeze the tube in the middle, the paste squirts out both ends.
Right. It goes everywhere. It's a mess.
We need the fluid to go up toward the heart, not back down to the feet. So the lymphatic vessels have a secret weapon.
Which is?
Millions of tiny one-way valves.
Check valves, like in plumbing.
Yes, exactly like in plumbing. There are little flaps inside the vessel. When you flex a muscle, you squeeze the tube, the fluid shoots up past a valve, and then click, the valve snaps shut. The fluid cannot fall back down.
So it's a ratchet system. Squeeze, move up, block. Squeeze, move up, block.
Precisely. It is a ratchet system powered by your motion. And this explains everything about the sedentary trap of modern life. Think about sitting at a desk for 8 hours or sitting on a long-haul flight.
The dreaded cankles. Everyone knows that feeling.
Exactly. Why do your ankles swell on a plane? It's not just the altitude or the salty peanuts. It's because you are not moving. No movement means no muscular contraction.
No contraction means no pumping.
The ratchet stops. So the fluid just sits there, pooling at the lowest point due to gravity, your feet and ankles.
So when we talk about sitting is the new smoking or the dangers of a sedentary lifestyle, we usually think about metabolism or burning calories. Oh, I'm not burning fat.
Right.
But you're saying it's actually a plumbing issue. You are effectively turning off the pump that cleans your entire body.
You are turning off the trash compactor.
Yeah.
You are letting the waste pile up in the kitchen. And over time, that toxic environment damages the cells. It's not just about calories, it's about cellular hygiene.
This makes so much sense. And it brings us back to the woo stuff we mentioned earlier.
Ah, yes, the fun stuff.
Let's talk about rebounding those mini trampolines. I always see this associated with, very eclectic wellness influencers. But based on what you just said about valves and movement, there's actual physics here.
There is absolute physics here. Think about what happens when you jump up and down on a trampoline. You are subjecting your body to G-force. You are accelerating and decelerating rapidly.
It reminds me of the Slurpee story from the research notes. This was great.
The Slurpee story, this is my favorite analogy because it makes it so clear.
Do you want to explain it? Because I think everyone has this childhood memory.
Sure. So you're a kid at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
You fill up your Slurpee cup with that crushed ice. But it's fluffy, right? It's full of air. It fills up the cup too fast, but you know there are air pockets everywhere. So what do you do to fit more in?
You bang the cup on the counter. You tap it down hard.
You stamp it down. We call it Slurpee stamping. You use the force of impact to settle the contents, to get rid of the air so you can add more of the good stuff.
Right.
Now, in the body, it works slightly differently because of the liquid nature of lymph, but the concept of vertical force is similar. When you bounce, whether on a trampoline or just doing heel drops on the floor, the G-force pushes down on the fluid, and then the rebound shoots it up.
And because of the valves?
The valves make sure it only goes one way. You're literally shaking the waste up toward the drain.
So it's not magic. It's using inertia and gravity in those one-way valves to move liquid.
It is basic hydraulics. And that's why shaking, literally just standing there and shaking your body like a wet dog, or jumping jacks, or rebounding, makes you feel lighter almost instantly.
You feel less heavy.
You are mechanically moving the heavy, stagnant fluid out of your extremities and back into circulation where it can be processed.
I want to pivot to another form of movement that the research highlighted as the gold standard, which is swimming.
Ah, yes. Swimming is unique. It's a special case.
I've always heard swimming is great for joints because it's low impact, but why is it specifically so good for lymph?
Swimming adds another layer of physics. Hydrostatic pressure.
The pressure of the water itself.
Right. Water is heavy. It has density.
Yeah.
When you are submerged in a pool, the water is pushing against your skin from every single angle. This creates a natural compression effect.
So it's like wearing a full-body compression sock.
A perfectly fitted full-body compression suit. It's squeezing you gently and evenly, but it gets even better. As you move through the water, you create drag. The water ripples and flows against your skin. This creates a shearing effect. It effectively massages the skin.
So you're getting a gentle massage while you work out.
Exactly. And remember, a lot of your lymphatic vessels are superficial. They are right under the skin. So you have the internal pump from your muscles contracting, plus the external compression of the water, plus the shearing massage on the skin. It is the trifecta of lymphatic drainage.
That explains that specific feeling after a swim. You feel tired, but you feel incredibly clean inside, like you've been power washed.
You basically have been. You've power washed your internal plumbing.
Now, obviously, we can't all swim to work, and you can't exactly bring a trampoline into a board meeting.
Your boss might object.
They might. But there is a hack for this. And honestly, this was the part of the research that surprised me the most. Because it's something we do 20,000 times a day, but apparently most of us are doing it wrong. We're talking about breathing.
Yes. This is the magic button. It is one of the most powerful and least understood levers we have for health. And it centers around a structure with a fantastic name, the cisterna chyli.
The cisterna chyli. It sounds like a Roman emperor.
I know, right?
Or a character from Game of Thrones. Lord Cisterna chyli of the lower abdomen.
It does command respect, and it should. Anatomically, it is a reservoir. It's a widened sac of the lymphatic system that sits deep in your belly, right in front of your spine, roughly behind your belly button.
Okay.
Think of it as the main collection tank for all the lymph coming up from your legs and your gut before it moves up to the chest.
So it's the grand central station for the lower body's waste. Everything from the toes, the calves, the thighs, it all dumps into this bucket in the belly.
Correct. Now think about how most people breathe when they're stressed or rushing or sitting at a computer answering emails.
Shallow. Up in the chest, you see the shoulders moving up and down, very tight.
Exactly. Vertical chest breathing. When you breathe like that, the diaphragm, which is that big dome-shaped muscle under your lungs, it doesn't move much. It stays tight and high.
Okay.
But when we switch to belly breathing, what some people call diaphragmatic breathing,
Right, where your stomach expands.
you inhale and actively push your belly out. This isn't about your abs. It's about creating space for the diaphragm to drop down deep into the abdomen.
Oh, what does that do to our Roman emperor, the Cisterna Caeli?
It squashes him.
Literally.
Literally. The diaphragm dropping down physically compresses the cisterna caeli. It squeezes the bag. Then when you exhale, the diaphragm moves up and the pressure releases.
So it's a pump.
It is a massive pump. And
Yeah.
because of the pressure differential, you're creating a vacuum in the chest and pressure in the belly. It literally sucks lymph fluid up from the legs like a straw.
That is incredible. So simply by sitting in your chair and taking a deep breath where your stomach expands, you are pumping waste out of your legs without moving a muscle in your legs.
You are being your own pump. You are creating a pressure vacuum that clears the lower body. And the best part is you can do this in a meeting, you can do it on a plane, you can do it while driving. It is invisible to everyone else, but it prevents that stagnation.
So if you're stuck on a Zoom call for 3 hours, you don't have to just sit there and stagnate. You can be belly breathing and keeping the flow moving.
Exactly. 5 to 10 deep belly breaths can move a significant amount of fluid. It's the easiest health hack in existence, and it's completely free.
Okay, so we've covered the body, we've covered the legs and the swamp, but now we have to go upstairs. We have to talk about the brain.
This is, in my opinion, the most revolutionary discovery in anatomy in the last 20 years, maybe longer.
And it's wild to think that until recently, we just didn't know this existed.
We really didn't. Until 2012, which is effectively yesterday in science years. If you open a medical textbook, it would tell you that the brain is the only organ in the body that does not have a lymphatic system.
Which, when you think about it, seems crazy. The brain is the busiest, most metabolically active organ we have.
It is metabolic royalty. It represents only 2% of your body weight, but it consumes 20–25% of your total energy. And because it consumes so much energy, it produces a huge amount of waste.
What kind of waste are we talking about here? Not just CO2.
No, much more complex stuff. Misfolded proteins like amyloid beta and tau. These are the metabolic byproducts of thinking, processing, and just existing.
And most people know those names. Amyloid and tau are the proteins that form plaques in Alzheimer's disease.
Exactly. So for decades, scientists were scratching their heads. Where does the trash go? How does the brain take out its own garbage? They assumed it just kind of diffused away slowly or was recycled. They didn't have a good answer. But in 2012, a researcher named Maken Nedergaard discovered the lymphatic system.
With a G. G-L-Y-M-P-H-A-T-I-C.
With a G for glia. Glial cells are the support cells in the brain. They are like the pit crew for neurons. And what she found was that the brain has a hitter dishwasher mode.
A dishwasher mode.
But, and this is the catch, it only turns on when you sleep.
This is the night shift.
It is strictly the night shift. Here's what happens, and it is it's amazing. During the day, your brain cells are packed tightly together. They are swollen with activity, firing signals, processing data. There is no room for cleaning.
It's like a busy restaurant during the lunch rush. You can't mop the floors while customers are everywhere.
Perfect analogy. The trash just piles up in the kitchen. But when you enter deep sleep, specifically non-REM deep sleep, a miraculous transformation occurs. The brain cells, specifically the glia, literally shrink.
They shrink, like physically get smaller.
They lose water volume and shrink. This opens up the space between the cells by up to 60%.
Whoa, 60%. That's a massive difference. It's like streets suddenly getting twice as wide at midnight.
Exactly. And because the streets are wide, the cerebrospinal fluid, which is the clear fluid bathing the brain, can rush in. It flows through the brain tissue like a high-pressure fire hose.
A power wash.
A nightly power wash for your brain. It squeaks out the amyloid plaques, the toxins, and the cellular debris, and flushes them down into the neck to be handled by the body's main lymphatic system.
That is such a vivid image. Your brain is literally washing itself every night.
But only if you get that deep sleep.
And this explains brain fog.
It explains it perfectly. If you don't sleep, or if you don't get deep sleep, the wash cycle never starts. Or maybe it only runs for 10 minutes. The glia don't shrink. The fluid can't rush in. So you wake up with yesterday's trash still cluttering your neural pathways.
So the fog isn't a metaphor. It's literal biological garbage gumming up the works.
It is waste accumulation affecting the speed of your cognition. It's why you can't focus, why you're irritable, and why you feel heavy in the head. You're running on a dirty engine.
Now, there was a fascinating hack mentioned in the research regarding how we sleep to help this process, because apparently gravity matters here too.
Yes, position matters. The research suggests that sleeping on your side is significantly better for this clearance than sleeping on your back or your stomach.
Why is that? What's the mechanism?
It seems to come down to the plumbing alignment. The outflow tracts, the drains in the neck where all this waste exits the skull, seem to be positioned in a way that gravity assists the flow when you are lateral on your side.
And looking at nature, this makes sense.
Right. Think about dogs, cats, wild animals. How do they sleep? Almost always on their sides, curled up. It's an evolutionary default.
There was a study mentioned where they actually forced people to change positions.
Yes, the fanny pack hack,
Yeah.
which is just brilliant. They wanted to test if position affected clearance. So they strapped a block or a fanny pack with a tennis ball to people's back so they physically couldn't roll onto their backs during the night.
So they were forced to be side sleepers.
They had to sleep on their sides. And the lymphatic clearance was measurably better. The brain flush was more efficient.
So if you are a back sleeper and you consistently struggle with brain fog, it might be worth training yourself to side sleep.
It's a simple, free intervention that aligns your biology with physics. Even just trying it for a week to see if you notice a difference in mental clarity.
Okay, let's move from the brain down to the body's defense system. We touched on this earlier. The lymph nodes. You called them the security checkpoints.
Right. So if the vessels are the sewer pipes, the lymph nodes are the water treatment plants and the security headquarters combined.
And they're in specific places.
Yes. You have them clustered in strategic areas. Your neck, your armpits, your groin, behind your knees, places where an invasion might happen.
And what exactly is happening inside a node? What's going on in there?
It's a detention center and a military base. The lymph fluid flows in, carrying whatever it picked up from the tissues, bacteria, viruses, maybe even cancer cells, dust. Inside the node, you have a standing army of immune cells, T cells, B cells, just waiting, kind of hanging out in the lounge.
Surveying the traffic.
Exactly. They inspect the fluid, like a border crossing. Papers, please.
Are you a nutrient? You can pass. Are you a flu virus? You're under arrest.
That's a perfect way to put it. If they find a pathogen, they detain it. And then they call for backup. They start multiplying rapidly to build an army to fight that specific invader.
And that rapid multiplication is why the node swells up and gets sore.
Yes. A swollen node is a sign of a battle raging inside. It's actually a good sign. It means the system is working. It has trapped the bad guy and is currently beating him up so he doesn't get into your bloodstream and cause a systemic infection.
This brings up a really important safety warning that was in the research. Because we are talking about massage and moving fluid, but there is a big do not here regarding these nodes.
A crucial point. If you have a swollen, painful lymph node from an infection, do not aggressively massage it.
Why not? We usually think massage helps everything. It moves things along.
Think about the containment strategy. The node has trapped the infection to keep it local. It's like putting a prison wall around the bad guys. If you go in there and do deep tissue massage directly on a swollen, infected node, you risk mechanically squeezing that bacteria or virus out of the containment center and into the bloodstream.
You're helping the jailbreak.
You are causing a jailbreak. You could turn a local throat infection into a systemic blood infection, which is much more dangerous. So, light touch to move fluid toward the nodes is fine for general health, but never deep pressure on an inflamed, infected node. Let the army do its work.
That is a really good distinction. Wow. Okay, so now we had to talk about the vanity angle again, because frankly, that's what gets a lot of people interested in this. The puff.
The puff, it's a powerful motivator.
We established that morning puffiness is fluid stagnation, but how do we fix it correctly? You mentioned that jade rollers and gua sha aren't totally woo, but there is a specific technique involved, and most people are doing it wrong.
Yes. The #1 biggest mistake people make with lymphatic massage, whether on their face or body, is using too much pressure.
We tend to think, no pain, no gain. If I press harder, I'm squeezing more out.
In the lymphatic world, that is the opposite of the truth. Remember, the initial lymphatic capillaries are microscopic. They are delicate little filaments anchored just under the skin. If you press hard, like a deep tissue massage, you collapse the tube.
You're pinching the hose shut.
Exactly. You're clamping the hose. Nothing can flow. To move lymph, you need what is described as the pressure of petting a cat.
Petting a cat, that is very, very light.
It is extremely light. It's just enough to stretch the skin slightly. You aren't kneading dough. You're just creating a little bit of traction on the skin to open those capillaries and gently guide the fluid into them.
And direction matters too, right? You can't just rub back and forth all over your face.
No, back and forth. This is the other huge mistake.
Yeah.
The system is a one-way street. Everything must eventually drain toward the terminus, the area around your collarbone.
Or the clavicle.
Yes. That is where the main drain pipes of the lymphatic system, the thoracic ducts, dump the clean lymph back into the blood supply to be circulated out.
So if you are massaging your face, you are always moving things down the neck toward the collarbone.
Correct. You are guiding everything to the drain. In fact, most experts say you should start by stimulating the collarbone area.
Yeah.
Just light tapping or rubbing to open the drain before you try to push fluid from the face down to it.
That makes perfect sense.
Otherwise, you're trying to push water into a clogged pipe. You have to clear the exit first.
Open the exit, then push the fluid. And speaking of skin and beauty, there was one other factor mentioned. Red light therapy.
Yes, this is everywhere now. The masks, the panels.
I see them all over social media. What is the real connection to lymph? Is there one?
There is. It's about energy. Specifically, long wavelength light red and near infrared. This light can penetrate the skin and hits the mitochondria inside your cells.
The powerhouse of the cell. Takes me back to high school biology.
It charges them up to produce more ATP, which is cellular energy. But specifically for lymph, research shows it reduces inflammation in the tissues, which makes it easier for fluid to move. And it also seems to improve the peristalsis, the natural pumping action of the larger lymphatic vessels themselves.
So it's like giving the workers a coffee break and paving the roads at the same time.
It's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It reduces the resistance, which is the inflammation, and it increases the power, which is the mitochondrial energy. It's not magic, it's photobiomodulation.
Okay, there is one more major connection we need to make before we get to the protocols. And this one really surprised me because it involves the heart.
Yes, this is the hidden benefit of cardio.
We all know cardio makes the heart muscle stronger, but the research says it does something else. It grows plumbing.
It causes lymphangiogenesis.
That is a great Scrabble word, lymphangiogenesis.
It means the creation of new lymphatic vessels. When you do cardiovascular exercise, you aren't just strengthening the heart muscle, you are actually signaling the body to grow new drainage pipes on the heart itself.
Why does the heart need its own drainage pipes?
Because the heart is a muscle that never, ever stops working. It creates a ton of metabolic waste. If that waste builds up in the heart tissue, you get edema swelling in the heart wall. This inflammation is a major factor in heart aging and fibrosis, which is stiffening of the heart.
So as we get older, the heart's trash clearance system gets worse.
It gets sluggish. The vessels can recede, they can become less efficient. But doing cardio, getting that heart rate up, remodels those vessels. It keeps the drainage system distinct and efficient.
So when you go for a run, you are literally building new plumbing for your heart to keep it clean.
You are helping your heart take out its own trash. And that mitigates inflammation and keeps the heart younger in a functional sense for longer.
That is a powerful motivator. It's not just about burning calories. It's about structural maintenance for your most important organ.
Absolutely. It's about ensuring the longevity of the pump itself.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. We've gone from the Slurpee stamp to the brainwash to the heart plumbing. But I want to boil this down for the listener. If I am listening to this and I realize, wow, my lymphatic system is probably a swamp, what do I do starting today?
Let's look at the protocol. It really comes down to 4, maybe 5 simple pillars. It's not complicated.
Okay, pillar 1 has to be hydration. You said it's a water-based system.
Non-negotiable. The lymphatic system is a water-based system. Lymph is mostly water. If you are dehydrated, your lymph becomes thick. It becomes sludge.
Sludge doesn't flow.
Sludge does not flow through tiny tubes. You cannot flush a toilet without water. You need to drink enough water so that your urine is pale yellow. A great rule of thumb is to start your morning with a big glass of water before coffee. It thins the fluid so it's ready to move.
Pillar 2, movement.
Remember, you are the pump. The system does not work if you do not move. It's that simple.
What's a good target?
Aim for 7,000 steps a day or more. But more importantly, avoid prolonged stillness. If you have a desk job, you must take breaks. The Pomodoro technique is great for this. Every hour, stand up, do 10 heel drops, shake your body out, walk to the water cooler.
The sitting disease is a lymphatic disease.
It absolutely is. And if you can, incorporate things that defy gravity. Rebounding is fantastic. But even just putting your legs up the wall at the end of the day to let gravity help you drain is a huge win.
Okay. Pillar 3, the magic button, breathing.
The diaphragmatic breath. Do this intentionally. Maybe set a trigger. Every time you open your email or every time you stop at a red light, take 3 deep belly breaths.
Inhale, belly pushes out. Exhale, let it fall.
That creates the vacuum. It clears the cistern entirely. It's the easiest way to pump your lymph while sitting still.
Pillar 4, sleep.
Prioritize duration and depth. You need that brainwash cycle. It's not a luxury. It's essential maintenance. And try the side sleeping position. If you are a back sleeper and you feel foggy, just try experimenting with sleeping on your side for a week. See what happens.
And finally, let's talk clothing briefly. This was an interesting one.
Yes, this is a simple one. If you are wearing incredibly tight, closed-tight waistbands, tight socks that leave a deep indentation for hours, you are mechanically restricting flow.
You're putting a kink in the hose.
Exactly. Compression gear has its place for athletic recovery, but chronic constriction from tight clothing day in and day out can impede that surface flow. So, let your body flow when you can.
So if we were to build a simple morning routine to kickstart this system, a 2-minute thing anyone can do.
Here is a 2-minute routine. 1, wake up and drink a big glass of water immediately. 16 ounces. Hydrate the system.
Okay, water first.
2, do 10 to 20 heel drops or just jump in place. Shakes body out, Slurpee stamp yourself.
Got it. Bounce.
And 3, do 5 deep, slow belly breaths to clear the main drain.
That's it.
That's it. Water, bounce, breathe. You have just activated the entire system and set it up for a successful day.
I love that. It's doable. It's free. And based on everything we've talked about, it makes perfect scientific sense.
And that's the beauty of it. You have this incredibly powerful, intelligent system inside you. It cleans your brain. It defends you from cancer and viruses. It keeps your heart young. It works for free. It just asks for one thing in return.
Movement.
Movement. Just keep the river flowing.
So here is our challenge to you, the listener. Try the morning face test. For the next 3 days, really focus on these pillars. Hydration, especially in the morning. Get your 7,000 steps. Do a few minutes of belly breathing. And try to get good sleep on your side.
And then on day 3, look in the mirror when you wake up. See if the puffiness is gone. See if the brain fog lifts faster. See if you don't look and feel 10 years younger by noon.
Treat your body like a flowing river, not a stagnant swamp. Thanks for diving in with us.
Keep moving.
We'll see you next time.